Hey. So today, what are we talking about? We're talking about some morals, the greater good.
That's what I thought there was.
That's kind of
greater good type
morals,
thing.
greater good, same type of thing, right?
Yeah.
The reason that I was given a question, and then I saw an article that kind of related to this question about if there was a train flying down some tracks. And there was one person tied on the left side of the tracks, and one person tied, or 5 people tied on the right. And there's a lever for you to. It's headed for the 5, and if you pull a lever, it would change the track so it goes to the 1.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do?
Mm-hmm.
And I answered the question. Well, I would probably pull the lever, kill the 1 person to save 5.
Yeah.
Right. So then I found this article on 80,000hours.org. About and it kind of went into that a little bit. Yeah, about is it okay to take a job that does a little bit of harm for the greater good? So if you're like and it was retweeted by a poker player. So
oh really?
Because like people question the morals of poker because you're taking money from other people. But
they give it up willingly. That's the
thing, and it did talk about that in the article.
I don't remember talking.
It did talk about like if you're playing a poker game against somebody and you win their money, they're willing to sit down with you, so that so you shouldn't feel bad, right? But so when if you said I'm a poker player, people would look at you and go, well, morally it doesn't come across as the greatest, even though they do some good. They do it like a lot of players do a lot of good for charity. They have a tournament, the big one for One Drop. It's $1 million tournament. Do
people really look that badly upon poker players?
In society, yeah. Still,
really?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, definitely. But they do a lot of good for charity. They help. Like
I think a better example would be a lawyer.
They use that example as well.
Because lawyers tend to gouge
or
you.
Finance.
The finance.
There was a lot in that article. There was a lot of the finance and stuff like that. So. The whole gist of it was, is it okay to do a job that's morally unethical as long as you are doing good for to do a better so if I'm a finance person, is it okay to take that job and be a little bit unethical morally, but I'm giving a lot of money to charity?
Oh, actually, I think the better example would be, is it okay to be a drug dealer as long as you're giving money to charity, opening stores for people to be employed in, as long as you're using your money for good.
Is it okay to be the mob as long as you're creating employment? And I guess those are good questions. If you're a drug dealer and you're giving to charity, does it outweigh? Does the
charity work? And they actually got. I do remember this from the article was that they got heavily into, what would classify as the good outweighing the bad.
Yeah.
Right? They go into actually very specific.
They have like a chart.
Which was kind of nice because a lot of the times when
it was very dry,
they talk about metaphysics, it's just droning on, and it's just like that monotone guy talking in the.
That's what I found about the article. It was very. It was just very repetitive and very just drawn out, just putting. It's almost like they were writing a 20,000-word essay, and they were just trying to fill words in there. And I was like, you could have said this in 5,000.
They only had 500 words worth of actual stuff, and they had to fill 20,000
exactly.
words.
So, when they had the chart, it was kind of... It was
no, the chart was actually really good to see. Yeah. It actually broke it down into, actual... comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and oranges to apples. Yeah. So that was very nice in that regards. So it was I've never heard the trolley question before, ever. Nobody's ever asked me, would you kill 1 person or 5? And they do allude to that in the article as that's kind of the limit of where people draw the line, is 5 people is about where people go, if I can save 5 and lose 1, that's okay. That's kind of where the society line is. And I'm thinking, okay, sure, 5 for 1 in a situation like that. Yeah.
When I was posed the question, I said that I would pull the lever, kill the 1, and then it's the person said, well, you would murder 1 person, but if you didn't pull the lever, you would be nothing. Right? And I went, you're right, but then you're just a bystander. You're just living in your own world, and you could have saved 5 people, but you chose to do nothing.
Yeah.
So if you can live with that, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can choose to do whatever you want.
I've never heard that. That's actually a very interesting.
Well, it's an interesting, it's an interesting way to look at it.
You actually choose to murder one person.
Whereas if you do
to
nothing,
save 5.
yeah,
or you do nothing, you're not responsible for anybody's death.
Exactly.
Good point.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a different twist on that. And I went, no, well, there's a whole bunch. To me, a situation like that, or looking at morals, it's not. It's very subjective to the situation. You know what I mean? And I find that the world, it tries to put everything into a category. You know what I mean? You're in politics. You're left. You're center. You're right. And it's like, well, why can't I be a little bit of everything? Because depending on the situation, you know what I mean?
No, you're completely right about that. Everybody tries to categorize everything because it makes
sense.
Easy,
yeah.
It makes life easier
Yeah.
once you have a description to everything. Because if you don't have a description to something, it becomes more
unknown.
difficult to.
It's scarier.
Yeah, it's scarier. The unknown is always scary, but it's harder to talk about it because if you can't describe it, if you can't pigeonhole it, you can't have a sense of either connection or an opposite to it.
But I find when you've done that, when you say, "Oh, you're left," people automatically go, this is what you associate with, and it's like, well, no, like when you talk to me about, hey, do you like apples? Well, there's 4 different types of apples. Well, I like this one, but I don't like this one. I like this one, but I don't like, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, I like apples. Yes, I do like apples, but I don't like Granny Smith apples. So you don't like apples? No, I like apples, but you know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
You know?
So no, it's interesting, and you're right. Getting through the article was
so hard.
A labor.
I honestly, I skipped a lot because of the filler words, and I was like, okay, I can skip that part because I read it already, because they set it up here. You know what I mean? It was a good article because it
did try to give you. Most articles tend to give you a quasi sense of something, so they'll give you a bunch of facts, but not really say anything about what should or shouldn't be done. This one actually did try to say, you know what? It is a good idea to get into certain morally ambiguous jobs to do good, but if you're doing good, this is the minimum amount of good that you need to do to qualify.
Offset,
the
it said a lot of
job.
lines. Yeah, if it did exactly that. It said if you do 1 unit of evil, you have to do 3 units
5.
of good, or 5. Yeah.
Yes.
So you know what I mean. So it was like for every 1 of bad, 5 of good.
I think you said if you are taking a 6-digit salary, the minimum amount of money you have to put into charity to offset your 6-digit bad job is like $50,000.
And that's the thing though. Like,
so I was like, wow, that's so. That's really what set this article off was 1, the charts, and the 2, that it actually said this is the line.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so nice to have somebody actually go, this is a line, and then we can go, oh, I agree with that line.
Yeah, or I
or
disagree.
I don't.
Well,
because
exactly.
a lot of articles will go, oh, well, the line should be set somewhere.
Somewhere in this area.
Blah, blah, blah.
And the area is like this big. You're just like, what? Where this one went, no, this is the line. You can agree with it or not. This is where we've
and
come up and we've look at it. Yeah, you can
argue certain aspects of it. So
because morals are always for debate, you know. Because somebody who works in finance might look at this and go, "You're crazy. Finance is a great thing. It runs the world. It employs what they say. It employs 6% of the world are Americans or something like that." I think it was like 6% or something like that. It's 6. It was a big number.
It was big enough.
It was big enough to go,
make a difference. And then you go, but you know what? If it wasn't for the finance people, they wouldn't have had the economic crash of 2008.
And that's where it comes. Right? The debate comes in, because you could, somebody who works for a church could be like, well, blah blah. I have high morals because I work for God or whatever. Or, you have bad morals because you are a defense lawyer and you defend rapists and you defend killers, and So I think in the end it comes down to, can you wake up and look yourself in the mirror and be okay with what you do in life?
Unfortunately, that's really easy for a lot of people.
Exactly.
For those people that are literally raping the countries, and I use quotes there, those finance people who literally rape you out of millions of dollars, they sleep on a pile of money.
They sleep well on their Gucci pillows or whatever, their Egyptian cotton sheets and their
stuffed with Canadian geese feathers.
Yeah. You know, I thought it was a decent article. It was like we said a bazillion times because it was very dry. So if you're gonna read it, we'll link it below.
But it was interesting in the fact that it made some lines and it gave you some charts, which I don't. Charts are really interesting. They help break up an article and give you a better understanding of how things work together. Because a lot of articles will just talk, and then by the time they're done, you're like,
you miss the point in a lot of articles. Where this one, it was dry, but it still was able to get the point across. It was good. Like I enjoyed reading it, and I hate reading, so you know.
No, but and it all started from an unusual question of, would you murder?
So I would pull the lever. Would you pull the lever?
Yeah,
I would pull the lever.
I don't think.
Because
murdering one person to save 5, I think
I would look at it this way. I would look at it this way as well. If I had the opportunity to save people's lives, and one has to go, you know what I mean. I think that I would like to think that I would do it. You know what I mean? To save lives.
As good of a job as you could, anyway.
So I wouldn't look at myself as a murderer.
No,
I'm sure the world would. I guess, legally, I guess he would be a murderer, right?
It would really come down to the trolls of the world, because it would be, for the people that answer the question, I would just let them die, they would be like, well, you're a murderer, and for all those people that would save, you're a hero, type thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, it
was... Hero or murderer?
What are you? Yeah, I guess. I guess it all depends how you look at it. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it depends on which side of the track you're on, too. Because if you're one of those 5, you're a hero.
If you're that one, well, the family hates you.
Yeah, exactly. And so, in the grand scheme of things, in my world, morality is tends to be pretty black and white because it's been set by God.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the world, it tends to be a little bit more ambiguous because it's set by men. And because men have this fluctuating sense of morality from person to person, it's rather difficult.
Mine's situational, I guess. My morals are situational because I don't just blanket everything. I look at a situation.
Well,
and I
because I'm human, unfortunately, mine's going to be situational. But I'm supposed to live by a set standard handed down to me by God. So it has that sense of pretty black and white. Whereas I know from living in the world that it's definitely not black and white.
No, definitely not. No, definitely not. Definitely not. But the article will be linked here. So, thanks for joining us. Yeah, check it out. Give it a read.
Listen to some nice music while you're reading. It might help the day go by a little. The article go by a little bit.
Break
easier.
It up, and I read it over a few days because I wouldn't be able to. I wasn't able to.
I have to admit the same thing.
I wouldn't be able to sit down
to read it
because it's long. It's fairly long.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty long.
It was nice too, for that matter, because I noticed a lot of mobile articles are really short because I know they have to pay attention to the attention span of the generation. But it was long. It was good. It was like, I'm actually reading something. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first time I've read something that long in a long time, that's for sure. But guys, thanks for joining us. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the week.
Enjoy your weekend.
Check out our previous videos, and our previous videos, and our previous videos, and we've probably got, I don't even know,
a year and a half's worth of stuff.
A year and a half's worth of a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. And let us know if you read the article. Let us know what you thought of it.
How did you answer the question?
Yes, would you pull the lever or would you not? What would you do? Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful week, and later.
See ya.
Or week, whatever it is.